Have you ever wondered how a tiny island nation, barely visible on the world map, came to rule over a quarter of the globe's landmass? Our story begins in the late 16th and early 17th centuries, when the foundations of the British Empire were being laid. During this time, a significant player made its debut on the world stage, the East India Company. Established in 1600, the East India Company was initially a commercial venture. But over time it morphed into a political entity, wielding tremendous power and influence far beyond its commercial interests. On another front, across the vast Atlantic Ocean, the British were making their mark on a whole new continent. The early 17th century saw the establishment of the first British colonies in North America, including the famous Jamestown in Virginia and Plymouth in Massachusetts. These were humble beginnings, of course, but beginnings nonetheless. From these small seeds, a vast empire would grow, an empire on which the sun never set. The 18th and 19th centuries witnessed the rapid expansion of the British Empire, but how did this come to pass? As we journey through the annals of history, we encounter significant events that propelled the British Empire's expansion. The 7 Years' War, fought from 1756 to 1763, played a pivotal role. This global conflict, often dubbed the First World War, saw Britain emerge victorious, gaining significant territories in North America and India. The spoils of this war laid the groundwork for Britain's burgeoning empire. The Industrial Revolution, which kicked off in the mid-18th century, provided Britain with the technological prowess to bolster its imperial ambitions. With the advent of steam power and mechanized textile production, Britain became the world's leading industrial and trading nation. This economic boom fueled the empire's expansion, as the demand for raw materials and markets for finished goods grew. At the same time, Britain was extending its reach to the far corners of the globe. The late 18th century saw the colonization of Australia, initially used as a penal colony, but soon transforming into a thriving outpost of British culture and influence. And as the 19th century rolled on, Africa became the focus of Britain's imperial ambitions. From the shores of Cape Town to the banks of the Nile, the scramble for Africa saw Britain establish control over vast territories and resources. Crucial to this expansion was Britain's strategic use of naval power. With a formidable navy, Britain could protect its trade routes, enforce its monopolies, and project its power across the globe. The empire also exploited local conflicts to its advantage, often playing rival factions against each other to secure British interests. In the span of 2 centuries, Britain had transformed from a peripheral European player into the world's greatest imperial power. At its zenith, the British Empire was the largest in history, but empires, like all things, are transient. So, what led to its decline? The peak of the British Empire coincided with the reign of Queen Victoria, aptly known as the Victorian era. This was a time of unprecedented growth and prosperity, where the sun truly never set on the British Empire. But as the saying goes, what goes up must come down, and the empire was no exception. The first significant blow came with the 2 world wars of the 20th century. The cost of these wars, both in terms of human life and financial resources, were staggering. They stretched the empire to its limits, revealing vulnerabilities that had been hidden during its peak. Simultaneously, the rise of nationalism in the colonies was gaining momentum. The people in these regions were becoming increasingly aware of their own identities, separate from the empire. This led to a surge in independence movements demanding freedom and self-governance. The empire's decline was further accelerated by economic difficulties. The cost of maintaining such a vast empire was astronomical. As the economic reality of the situation became apparent, it became increasingly clear that the empire was no longer sustainable. By the mid-20th century, the once mighty British Empire was a shadow of its former self. Yet, despite its decline, the empire's influence resonates even today, a testament to its once formidable presence on the global stage. The British Empire may have disintegrated, but its legacy is still evident today. But what is this legacy? Its remnants are not just geographical, but cultural, legal, and linguistic. The English language, once confined to a small island, now echoes across the globe. British law, with its emphasis on individual rights, serves as the backbone of many current legal systems. The empire's cultural influence, from literature to sports, permeates societies worldwide. The sun may have set on the British Empire, but its influence continues to shape our world.